I hear single people always say, oh, they have been looking for this one. Why is it difficult to find a spouse? Why is it that they are unable to find someone suitable for marriage? And one of the things I have realized over time working with people as a counselor and therapist is that it's not that there are not many people out there who are good enough for marriage, but many times we have set standards and yardsticks that has limited our options and has reduced the options we can choose from. So many times you hear people say, I can only marry somebody that has so and so height, somebody that has so and so weight, and somebody that has so and so shape. Yes, there are many people in the world who would match that particular description. But the question becomes, how many people around you match that description? That's what actually counts, right? I want to marry somebody who comes from my tribe. I want to marry somebody who comes from the same denomination with me. I want to marry somebody who has this, who has that, who has this particular type of job, who this. And now we are setting all those standards. We are setting all those rules and all those principles for ourselves. And the question is simple. How many of those kind of people do you have around you? And we find these people are going single and single and single and single. At times we think that, oh, maybe it's God that is not bringing to them the type of person that they want for marriage. In reality, it's not God's responsibility to bring to you the type of person you want for marriage. It is your responsibility, it's your duty to find that person, to search out that person. And now, if you have created terms and conditions for yourself that will make searching for that kind of person difficult, it's not God's fault. Right? So that's like, say, you're trying to search for gold in a territory where gold has not been found before, or where there are not even indications to let you know that you could find gold there. So let me explain. You are the one in many cases who sets the terms and conditions of what the person must have or what the person must not have before he or she can be your spouse, right? Many times. And then people will say, oh, I want a God-fearing person, right? I want this person, I want that person. But at the same time, you see why they have set that particular yardstick to determine who they can marry or who they cannot marry. You see them coming up to say, oh, he must earn so and so, or she must earn so and so. He must not be a firstborn. He must not be a lastborn. He must work in this kind of industry. He must be a corporate worker, not a business worker. He must not be an entrepreneur, or he must be an entrepreneur. Oh, he must not be a worker in church, or he must be a worker in church. He must not do this and he must not do that. At the end of the day, it all comes down to what we set, the rules we set, the extra rules we set. Let me say this for those who are Christians. You will remember that Jesus Christ was talking about how the Pharisees and the Sadducees, they had made worshiping God more difficult for the Jews. And how did they make God more difficult for the Jews? Was that although God gave them few laws, few commandments to keep, these people expanded the laws into thousands, right? They made several laws that now became difficult for the people to meet up with these laws, to keep up with these laws, to try to obey all these laws. So serving God was not the stress. The stress was meeting up with all the rules that were now man-made. And that's the same thing that also applies in marriage. One of the things that is making it difficult for many single people to find that special person is because they have set rules that is making it difficult for they themselves to find someone who is suitable around them. Now, if you know the type of person that you are looking for, and you know that that type of person lives in a particular territory, will live in a particular city, or rather, let me say it like this. The type of person you are looking for, can that person be found? Can that kind of person be easily found in the territory where you live, in the place where you live, in the city where you live, in the church where you worship, in the community where you reside in? If that kind of person you find it cannot be easily found there, you put yourself under stress and you put yourself under pressure, because right now you start looking for that one person. And mind you, the competition will also be higher, because there's also a possibility that there are 5 or 10 other people looking for that same kind of person, and in your community you have only one of such person. So finding that person may actually be difficult when you realize that you have to work, you have to church, you have to live personal life, and you also have to be actively looking for this person. So sometimes your blessing could be you having to leave that particular place where you are living and go somewhere else where you could perhaps find the person that you are looking for, where you could perhaps find the kind of person that you want for marriage. It is not God's rules and yardstick that is actually holding you back, if we have to say. If you check it out, yes, God's standards are clear and they are straightforward. Someone who loves God, someone who loves you, and someone who wants to always please God and interestingly please you. Right? So those are like the general yardstick. But then by the time you start adding the economic things, I'm not saying you should not add them, but I'm telling you that right, those may now be the extra things that is making it difficult for you to find that amazing woman, for you to find that amazing man. And it may not be because the things that you are looking for, they are out of this world. It could just be that it's because they are out of your world, right? The world where you live in, the world you interact with, the world you network in. And right now, you are not willing to break into the world where you will find those type of people, where you will easily find those type of people. So check your list again and ask yourself, what are the things I'm actually looking for? Am I sure that it's not my list that is my limitation? I mean, if my list is not my limitation, for example, the people that I'm looking for, can I easily find them around me? It is I, alright, Eigbe, and I'm glad to have you. Follow me. Thank you. If you have not yet followed, kindly follow right away. See you next time. You rock.